is 180%. And guess what? Who wants to pay 80% of their salary? I don't need the government to take care of me. Thank you. I can take care of myself.
Do you believe that we should?
Guess
What's going to
what?
happen then? You still want to cut Social Security?
Social Security is going bankrupt all by itself.
So we should help it, not let that happen.
That's not me saying it. That's the Social Security Administration saying it.
All right, let's okay, come on. Okay, let's do two more topics. Let me ask a question.
Just mention something about immigration.
Okay, go ahead.
First off, Obama has deported the most immigrants than any other president in U.S. history. Obama has deported more immigrants than all the presidents of the 20th century combined. Another thing is, nobody talks.
Hey, buddy, I'm talking here. Hey, wait. Let your friend speak.
Another thing is, nobody talks about Mexico's barrier with Guatemala. Did you know that Mexico has deported the most Central Americans than any other country, including the U.S.? What racist? Well, because you want to criticize
America. This is America. We accept immigrants into this country for the pursuit of a better life.
Yeah, legally.
All right.
Because the whole point is, if you don't have borders, you don't have a country. And if you just let random people in,
Hold on, guys. Can we? Would you like to answer questions about?
Oh, sure. What do you got for me, buddy?
First of all, I have a question. How many of you guys knew that? How many of you guys knew that America had free immigration until 1914?
Well, Ellis Island was documentation. When my family came here, they were documented. They're on the books.
I'm probably wrong then. Go ahead.
It was only Northern Europeans came into.
And also, nothing wrong with immigration. That's what makes this country great. But you got to have it documented. You know about.
Hold on.
There was discrimination against Southern Europeans.
And every other continent.
Up until Kennedy election.
But Northern Europeans could come here. Irish could come here. Germans could come here.
Right.
Freely, without any.
But there was major discrimination against the Italians and the Spanish and other people.
Gotcha. So there was always discrimination.
There was.
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
Absolutely.
Okay, my question.
Who legalized
Guys.
colonial immigration?
Well, hold on.
Who legalized the colonists?
No, you didn't say that.
Who legalized?
Why do you go back?
Who legalized the? No, you said legal immigration. Who legalized the colonists? Who legalized the immigration of the colonists?
Into what? Into what country?
When they came here to this land, when the colonists came here to this land, you said there's a difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. So who legalized when the colonists came here?
Did we have an American country by then?
We
No, we
didn't.
had
Exactly my
Native American
point.
country.
Everybody is an immigrant. Show me one person who's not an immigrant.
It wasn't even a country because you just had
That's
British
exactly my
rule.
point. So you think you can come here, I can come here and tell somebody else not to come here? Who do you think you are?
But we didn't have a
Wait,
country
wait,
then.
wait.
We have a country now.
Exactly my
Economy.
point. And you have a country.
And payment, though.
You have a country of people living the outside.
Okay, go ahead.
So when these people are talking about Social Security and how they shouldn't have Social Security, I actually went canvassing for Bernie Sanders on my block, and there was a Republican who answered the door, and he's a Republican LPN who's conservative on social issues, but when it comes to economics, is all for Bernie. And this dude, I knock on his door, he's walking out of his house like this, he can't even bend down. He has a child. He might have to move back to Puerto Rico, or he might have to move to Florida because his house is getting foreclosed. And I almost cried when I talked to that guy, because it's not right where in a country people are talking about cutting Social Security, yet people can't afford to live on Social Security. So you know what the solution is? Follow Bernie Sanders and let's expand Social Security.
Everyone can talk about.
All right, guys.
That means that everybody can just move anywhere they want, then, right?
I don't have an opinion about any other place, but I'd be happy if more people come here.
Also,
Because my grandparents came here and they benefited from it.
what?
I'm a compassionate person. I would love to see more people come here.
we're compassionate about
Charity begins at home.
Exactly my
Okay,
point. Yes.
guys. I want to ask.
Penny,
And it's
Penny.
started home
I
by
care
grandparents.
I care about the point here.
All right, guys.
Corporations here, but don't you care about business? Don't we need strong business here?
Exactly.
We need strong business here at home,
How
right?
do you do that when this
Well,
guy,
hang on.
when Bernie wants
Hang
to
on.
raise taxes
Well, if
sky
there's
high?
one, can I get one sentence in?
All right.
Okay, listen.
You guys are very
Okay, two
sharp.
sentences. Okay, listen. We don't want people here in this country illegally. Amen.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
All right. We don't want to be in this country illegally, and I'm saying that as a new immigrant. The only people who want people in this country illegally is corporations, because they do not want people to have legal status, so they have to pay them a fair wage and follow all of the labor laws and all of the health laws in this country. They want all those migrants to pick those crops and work in those factories and in those Chinese buffets, all under the table, because it is an advantage to the capitalists. That's what's going on. And that does not make America great. Immigrants make
And the Democrats want illegals for more votes too.
Exactly. The Democrats want to increase their.
All right. Since you guys are here, let's ask you guys, just you, a few questions.
Okay, I got two analogies for immigration because a lot of.
What did you have to say, sir?
All the Russians work in Russian on the restaurant. I'm right. I live right here on the boardwalk. Over there, all the illegal Mexican works over there for very cheap in Russian in
What's
the
your background,
restaurant.
sir? Just curious.
What do you mean, my big? I'm a tall and diameter.
Russian or?
I'm from Kyrgyzstan.
Kurdistan.
Yes.
Nice.
It's, that time was white Lenin.
From which part of Kurdistan? The Turkish or the Syrian or the Iraqi?
At that time it was white Lenin, part of Russia.
Oh,
it was part of
you
Russia
didn't say
when I was
Kurdistan.
born.
You said.
Yeah, it was part of Russia, white Lenin.
But what country?
Was part of Russia, white Lenin.
White
That's right,
Lenin.
USSR, right. The big Russia that we used to be.
Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, Kyrgyzstan. Yeah. Right.
Now, I wanted to make two analogies with immigration. First off, you got a lot of legal immigrants who don't like the idea of illegal immigrants coming in. It's sort of like when you're at a grocery store, right? And you have a long line, and you're waiting on that line to check in your groceries. How do most people feel when you're on the line, and then out of nowhere, all of a sudden, someone cuts in the line in front of you and skips you? Most people don't feel that good about it, and it upsets most people. So that's how a lot of illegal immigrants are feeling when they're going by the book, trying to do the right thing, become citizens, and someone randomly comes. One more analogy. It's also a country is like a home. Would you rather someone go to the front of the house, ring the doorbell, you open up the door, you say, hi, nice to meet you, you get their name, you know who they are, they're a guest, and you let them in the house. That's no problem. What the illegal immigration is, someone who goes in back of the house, goes into the window and sneaks and goes into your house. You have no idea that you're in their house, that they're in your house.
Okay,
now.
can we conduct an interview here? Come here. Okay, can we ask you questions?
Sure.
Okay, so now we're gonna ask.
Make it neutral.
I'm gonna make it very neutral, but listen. This is for a student journalist project. But I want to ask some questions as an interviewer, and then I would ask both of you guys. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna ask a question. I'll give each of you 1 minute to respond. Okay? So.
Do we have like the bell that makes the noise? With
No, it's nothing like that. Just be courteous to each other because that's what part of American democracy is.
We'll do the Bernie Sanders finger pointing.
Okay, first, related to immigration. Here I see you have legalize it, marijuana, 2016. My question is about the war on drugs. Would you agree with Bernie Sanders and people who want to roll back some of the war on drugs in that it might be exacerbating the conditions for Mexicans and people in Latin America that produce the drugs with the drug wars and the cartels and the Zetas and everybody killing each other? Does that contribute to illegal immigration, and does America have a responsibility to perhaps end the drug war or somehow would you agree with Bernie on that?
Well, it's also a point of Trump. That's the thing. They're not very different on that issue because Trump, he campaigned in New Hampshire, and New Hampshire, they talked to him about how drugs are hurting so many of their people and killing their people, and especially with heroin. And people don't realize this, but like in Mexico, what they'll do is they take like a cannon, right, and they put the drugs in the cannon and they shoot it over the border. So when he says they're bringing drugs in the country, it's true. It is coming from Mexico. So by having a stronger border and knowing who's coming through and knowing what they're bringing in, it will help to stop the flow of drugs into a country. So it helps American people, America first.
Do you agree?
Americans
Do you think they have a similar position on it?
I mean, it might be a little different their position as far as like the immigration part of it, but about that we should do something about drugs. But I think Trump is stronger on that because he's trying to focus on undocumented illegal people that you don't pay attention to, and if you have lax borders, that just lets the drugs flow in. So that's a way to stop the flow of drugs.
So what's Trump's solution to?
Just answer the question as well. The question is, so I got you to say at least that Bernie is correct on some of the drug war issue. You like his stance on that.
The thing is, I'm not going to 100% disagree with Bernie. I actually like Bernie a lot. I'm actually, ironically, going to be voting for him, but that's another story. Because of my party. So that's why. Because I'm actually a Democrat. And then with New York, you had to change your party back in October.
No, but plus it's an anti-Hillary as well.
Also anti-Hillary, but in the general election, I'm going Trump all the way. What do you expect? If you're a Democrat and you miss the deadline, what could you? I mean, I could not vote. That's true, I could not vote.
Okay.
Maybe I won't vote and have Bernie lose in New York. Would you rather have that, Bernie, guys?
On this particular
So what do you guys have to say about the drug war?
On this particular issue, I actually agree. I think we should end the drug war, and we should stop mass incarceration of African Americans. Right now, you have kids going to jail for possession of marijuana. It's not right. We should be jailing the real criminals who are the executives stealing from the middle class.
All right, now let's touch on that issue for a second. Jailing the criminals from Wall Street. There have been articles written about it. I think I think it was Matt Taibbi who wrote a Rolling Stone piece about why is Wall Street in jail. The question is, do you really think they broke any laws? How exactly would that happen retroactively? It's all been legislated already.
Okay.
So at this point, isn't it over?
Yes,
Can you put it in?
They're breaking many laws.
Greg, do you mind putting it in? Just keep the dialogue.
When they repealed glass.